So we're going to be talking about prototypes, what they are, how to use them, when to use them, and why you should keep them separate from your MVP. A prototype is definitely not a finished product. It's something that you kind of stitch together so you can see if something can work. I think of them as a great way to answer a deep technical problem. Like, it is the best answer to, is it even possible to do something? Here's my prototype that shows whether it is or isn't. And I think that is the best use for them. And there are many different technical questions you might answer. So yes, you might be answering, is it possible to do something? And in that case, you can take example code, templates, blog articles from all over the web, stitch things together, see if you can make something work. And yeah, it was ideal if your prototype does the thing end to end, but sometimes we know it's going to work. We know that the plumbing to go from here to here is easy and it's okay. It's the edges that we need to figure out. And in that case, I'd skip the plumbing. It's okay. You're sure it's going to work. You don't need to prove that out. What you need to prove out is it even possible to be able to achieve the thing that we're trying to do? And that's where you should put your time and energy inside the prototype. When you put it in your product, you'll definitely need to make it work end to end. There are then different types of questions that your prototype might answer. What should it look like? And you might think, well, this isn't really a prototype, but it is. It really is. It's like, what will users expect to do or to click on side of the screen? And again, you don't want to have a whole product just to figure out the order that someone wants to click on buttons. There's loads of really good prototype or mocking tools out there, and I'll leave some links below. And you can use these to put them in front of users, see how they respond to things. And then when you have the design sorted, when you have the screen flow sorted, you can start building out exactly what you expect. And with APIs, and you might be thinking, well, there isn't really a prototype you can do with APIs. And you're right, that there isn't, strictly speaking. But what you can do is you can take the document-led approach. So you can use the Open API standard, build a YAML file or a description of your API, you document it, you explain how it's going to work, and this can be really useful for people that are using your product later on. So if you're trying to figure out how will people use my product and the product is an API, this is a great way to start. It helps you answer some of the really difficult questions of, can my customers even use this before I need to spend all the energy and time to go ahead and build it? And the really cool thing is, many of these tools have the ability to load like mock data inside of them. So they can actually call the API that you create this mocked API, and they can start developing against it. An approach that some people will take is to start developing or start prototyping inside of their main code base, their MVP, whatever the term is that you're using to describe what you're working on day to day. And this has one really good advantage. It allows you to then roll it out into production really quickly because it's already inside your code base. But you should be using prototypes to answer questions that you're not sure of the answer to. If you already know the answer to it, then it's not really a prototype, it's just a piece of development. It's much better when you use a prototype to say, I'm not really sure if this can work, so let me try it, and if it does work, then I'll scope it out and call it a piece of development and start working on it as normal. And if you start doing this inside your MVP, and for example, if you're using example libraries and other code bases, blog articles that are out there, you've got to do a lot of converting of that code into your code base to make it work with all your objects and all the things that you need, your data, everything like this. Whereas it's going to be easier and faster to prove whether it is possible for it to work if you just do that in isolation. Spin up a quick project, make it dirty, it doesn't matter, just see it work. Then once you know how it works, bring it into your main project. You don't have to think about the tests, you don't need to think about all the integration, and you can get there faster. This also then gives the added benefit of where you do prototype something and it doesn't work, or it's just not what someone needs, or it's a failed experiment, or any other of these kind of combinations, you don't really need to do anything to remove it from the code base. Now, sure, if you're using source control in any sensible way, you could get rid of the whole branch, but you would have spent a lot of time refactoring the codes to make this happen. So it's just faster and simpler if you keep it separate. Then once you have used your prototype to do something successful, you'll have a much wider understanding of what is possible and how it can be done. And at that stage, you'll be able to much more clearly scope out the work that you need to do, the changes you need to make, all the integrations, and then start building it into your product in the right way so that when it's put in front of users, it doesn't feel like something that's clunky and doesn't quite work, it's not being thought out, it feels like it works as well as every other part of your product. And if you found this video useful, hit the like button, subscribe if you've not done so already, and in the comments below, tell me about the experiments you've run. Tell me about the things that you've tried and that you were successful with, or things that you tried that didn't work. And until the next time, try something. Try prototyping something that you didn't think was possible, or you're a little bit cautious or hesitant to try. And don't just do it on something deep, technical, down a layer that no one can see. Do it with a mock, do it with a UI, do it with anything, but start experimenting.